Hi, diddle diddle. What's going on, everybody? My name is Bigby. Back here today with an episode 9 Titans review. My apologies for just getting out so late. A lot of things got a little crazy. Wasn't able to edit and record and do all that stuff. Have a newborn, so it's a little tough. Anybody who's ever had a newborn, you understand what I'm talking about. So let's hop right into it. This episode was really good. Focused on a lot of the sub characters. Main characters were not in this episode too much, or even barely at all. I actually. Now that I think about it, none of the main characters were in this episode at all. So we're going to get right into it. Right off the bat, it starts off with Bruce. He's in Scotland. And he's filling out his last will and testament. There's a butler there named Charles. I'm not entirely familiar with Charles. I think that is one of the other servants which he had. It could be a lead somebody. But nevertheless, he's filling out a last will and testament, which makes you think this is the first time we've seen Bruce in like 4 or 5 episodes. So it gives you an idea what's going on there. Cuts from there, we finally get to see Raven. We finally get to see where she's been. It cuts to her in Themyscira with Donna Troy's body, and then it shows her training pretty much to be an Amazon, I guess. And it shows her saying how much she hates this place and why Donna hated it and this, that, and the third. From there, it cuts to a black and white, and it cuts to Tim Drake on a train. And Tim Drake doesn't remember how he got there. Last we saw Tim Drake, he was shot by a scarecrow. Tim Drake doesn't remember how he got there. He doesn't remember anything of it. And the conductor says, it's almost time for your stop. He speaks in, I want to say, not a German, maybe a Austrian or Swiss accent. Regardless, that's really not important. It's just the actor. But then, yeah. So it's on like a 1920 train, and Tim realizes like he doesn't know where he is, and the conductor says it's almost at your stop. You gotta come with me, and it shows Tim running towards the back of the train. Then it shows Donna Troy on the train. It's the first time we've seen Donna Troy all season, which is really cool because this kind of gives you a good idea of what happened to her. And this episode does great this episode does great character development, setting up for everything that's going to be coming. So pretty much, Tim runs to the back of the train. Donna follows him, and he's like, I don't know where I am. I don't want to be here. This and that. He ends up jumping off the train. Donna follows him, jumps off the train, and then like it's cutting back and forth between that and Themyscira to Raven, and Raven ends up getting caught trying to bring Donna's body back to life using her powers. So Raven, a little bit later, gets tried, and we'll get a little bit into that. But then it cuts back to Tim Drake, Donna Troy in the woods. And they're going through the woods, and he's like, I have to get back. And she's like, that's a really long walk. Pretty much signifying that was like a train of death, and it takes you to your next destination. As they're out there, these ghouls pop out and try to start stealing Tim's soul. Donna fights off a couple of them. There's only so much they can do, and then you hear like a Bon Jovi song playing and a Thunderbird driving around while these guys are running through the woods, and they run towards it. They get into it. It's actually Hawk. So far, those are 3 characters who are dead. Hawk, Donna Troy, and Tim Drake. So after Hawk picks him up, they're driving in the car. Pretty much Hawk explains to Donna, what happened to him. She wants to know how he died because she knows she's dead. She remembers. Tim Drake can't remember anything. And pretty much Hawk says, Jason Todd, he goes for the whole spiel. How he was blown up. This is that and third. Hawk brings him back to like his own little hideout, which is called Twilight Owl. There's a guy named Malcolm there who Hawk apparently has saved and helped out. And so then it cuts back to Themyscira. Raven tried. Her punishment is to rebuild this rock thing any way she can. The woman in charge there eventually tells her about how her daughter died, and they weren't able to bring her back to life. And Raven argues, well, maybe your way doesn't work. My way would be better. And she says, I've seen our way work, and whatever the case may be. So it cuts back to Donna and Hawk, and they're talking. Donna pretty much tells Hawk she doesn't want to go back. She's made her peace. She's not looking to go back. She's made her peace with death. She's looking just to get to the next stop and see. She's looking to move forward. She's done being a hero. Being a hero got her killed at a carnival. Sure enough, eventually the ghouls find the Twilight Owl. Hawk's hideout. They ended up finding it. And then as the fight's going on with them, Hawk makes these two guns appear. And as he shoots the guns, Tim remembers everything. He remembers how he was shot. He remembers everything he knows about the Titans. He explains to them everything he wants to be, how he wants to be a hero. How, pretty much everything that he's said in every episode for like the last 2 or 3 episodes. So then eventually, he's like, I have to get back. And he says, I have to get back. And Hawk says, well, there's a way I've heard about. There's a bridge by an upside down tree that leads you back to the other world. So while they're in the car, they're talking. And Donna says, hey, Tim says to Hawk, he's like, while you got him, you might as well pass out those guns. When he says that, Hawk says, it wasn't me. I don't have the guns. This place works differently. If you imagine something, it kind of appears. And at the time, I just imagined having 2 pistols. So everybody laughs about it. Yeah. And then they eventually find the upside down tree. They find the bridge. As a gang go across the bridge, a huge fight happens. A bunch of ghouls show up. They try to imagine things. A bunch of funny things happen where, like, Hawk tries to imagine guns. He ends up getting, like, Robin like batarangs, or throwing stars, whatever they're called. Then Donna gets like 2 beer bottles. She breaks them, starts fighting them off. Hawk and he tries again. He gets a pair of nunchucks. He messes himself up. A couple funny moments. The whole time, Tim Drake is just scared, not moving. And eventually, Donna imagines her sword. She ends up getting it. She starts cutting through ghouls on one side. As it happens, the bridge starts to break. And then Hawk is fighting them off by hand with the nunchuck still, all this and that and the third. They tell Tim to jump. Tim says I can't. Eventually he goes and jumps, and when he jumps, Donna imagines her lasso of truth pretty much and catches Tim Drake, pulls him across. The bridge starts to break. Hawk pretty much sacrifices himself and ends up fighting the ghouls on the other side, takes them all out. And as he's fighting, the bridge gap gets bigger and bigger to the point where Hawk can't go. Donna and Tim Drake go to the other side of the bridge pretty much. And Hawk goes back to the other side of the bridge. Bridge disappears. And then this is kind of really cool. As the bridge disappears, Hawk's there, and I know where his brother comes, and he's dressed in his Dove suit. And he tells him how he's been looking for him, and he's been helping people get around. And pretty much Hawk finally gets to see his brother. They joke around a little bit. It was a very nice send-off for Hawk, because if you don't know, the character, the actor for Hawk, came out, said he's already been released. It was their send-off. He's open to the possibility of Hawk coming back. Pretty much, comic book lore comes into this pretty hard, where anybody can come back from the dead. But it was a great send-off for Hawk. Back to Jason and Donna. They go to the other side of the bridge. Jason starts to collapse, saying he's not feeling so good. He starts bleeding. He's like, oh my God, this is that and the third. And then 2 minutes later, you hear clear. He wakes up. He's back to life. And the doctor says, oh, we got him back. It was 93 seconds since he was out. So all this took place in 93 seconds real world. Again, comic book lore. Anybody can come back from dead. Then it cuts to Themyscira. Raven hears a noise because she's getting ready to leave because she's came to the fact that Donna's dead. And sure enough, when she goes and checks Donna's body's not there. So then it cuts back to Bruce Wayne in Scotland or Ireland. Can't remember which country. But he's back there. And then he lights his entire house on fire with him inside of it. And pretty much tries to kill himself. Out of nowhere, Donna appears, grabs him, brings him into another room, brings him back to life. Bruce asks if he's dead. Donna says no. And she says, why? He says, because you are. And that's where the episode cuts off. So overall, good episode. Overall, very good episode. I say I give it about a probably an 8. And the main reason why I'm going to give it an 8 as opposed to like an 8.5 because it did great character development and gave Hawk an amazing send off. Obviously, this is setting up for Don and Troy to come back. It's setting up for Tim Drake to become Robin. It's doing all that. But the main reason why I don't give it an 8.5, Bruce Wayne would never kill himself. Batman would never do that. Bruce Wayne would never go to the point where he really felt like the only way out is to kill himself. He would figure out another way. Also, the other thing which I had a couple problems with, it showed Raven, trying to follow their ways and do everything like that. But I feel like if Raven really wanted to, she could just kind of overtake a lot of Themyscira. But, I mean, it was a good episode. It was good character building. Really good, quick-paced. Never really a dull moment, minus a couple of the Raven scenes. But besides that, overall, very good. Titans is doing a great job. We're over halfway. It's 13 episodes or 13 episodes. This is episode 9. So we're actually 3/4 of the way done. This is going to set up for something big. Like I said, Don is back. This is going to bring Bruce back because now Don is back. So there's a lot of that going into that. So into the whole season, I thought for a second Bruce was going to be gone for good. Will not be. But yeah, overall, it's very good. Titans comes out Thursdays. Go back, watch the episodes. Like I say all the time, watch the episodes. It really is a great show. And you just gotta watch. I'm very excited to see how this ends. Again, my apologies for just getting out so late. It will be coming out every Saturday. If you have any comments, please leave them down below. If you have anything you think, any theories you think, anything you want to talk about, please down below. If I missed anything, let me know. All right, besides that, until next time, see you.